Hey guys, Dissection of Violence here. We got another one for you. UFC Fight Night Burns and Malott. It should be a good one. They're in Winnipeg, my neck of the woods. Not in Winnipeg, but in Canada. Should be a good card. I was gonna do this video last night, but I was running really low on sleep, guys, and I didn't want to give you any more of those delirious videos. It's a few weeks back. I tried, or a few weeks, 2 to 3 weeks ago, I tried doing one of those, and I posted it, and it didn't go well at all. And I left it up because you know me, I don't really care. As far as like once I put something out there, it's gonna be out there. It is what it is. But yeah. Anyways, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed today's show. We got a good show today. We're gonna recap the last card, and we're gonna recap, or not recap, but go through this current card this week. About the UFC last week, we did okay for bet. Well, we did good betting wise. Prediction wise, no, that was not a good card. I went positive on my picks, but the main picks that I gave out for the channel did not cash. One of them, first pick I gave out, I said it. So before you guys give me grief, I said it in the video that I hate this last week as far as like picking locks or anything. I did not like it. I said things that I think hit, but as far as like who, like lock wise, I was not confident. It was a really weird week of fights. Or not really weird week, but really weird card. I had a really good week last week. That was a really good week for me. I did probably a record week. Not record week as far as like units because I've done more in the past, but I also don't bet as conservative as I do. So for as conservative as I am now, that's really good. I think I did like almost 30 units last week. That's really good for me. Um, Anyways, guys, let's get right into it. Yeah, we did. We got, I think, the top three, two wrong, one draw. And then I think I cashed Radke and I gave out someone else. I can't remember who. Maybe Pico. Maybe I can't remember. It was a really weird week. But yeah, guys, let's get right into it. Almost two more things. Fight of the night. I believe I gave out Fadir Medeiros, or I can't remember the name I gave out, to be honest. Maybe Pico and Pitbull, but the fight of the night, without a doubt, was Hockett and Blaze. That was such a great fight. I'll get into it in a second, but that was such a good fight. And then prospect of the card, I'm gonna have to go with either Aaron Pico or Josh Hockett because that was really cool. I'll probably gonna go Aaron Pico just because I think his ceiling's higher, but Hockett had a great performance. We'll get into that. Okay, UFC 327, great card. I would give the card maybe like a 6 out of 10, 6 or 7. Oh my god, I can't believe I did it. I'm not doing the thing. I know it's, like Fibonacci sequence, it just keeps coming, but it is what it is. Yeah. I don't rate this card really highly. I think the last two fights saved it. I think if we're going through it, Luque got a finish, Suarez got a finish, Gamrot did get a finish. Uh, Pico had a good performance. Swanson had a nasty send off. Um, Great fight. Costa finish. Okay, I'll give it a 7, 7 or an 8. That's more fair after reviewing the card. But yeah, let's get into it. Charles Radke versus Francisco Prado. It was one of those fights, man. Charles Radke. Everyone's saying, oh, he's like levels above this guy. I don't think he is. I think he's a better grappler. But on the feet, he was clearly struggling. Prado hurt him early. I just don't think the thing about Prado is he's not that good. But he's a dog and he will fight. He's tough. He's got that chin. If you look at the picture here, like look at that chin, man. Good luck knocking that out. Radke hit him a few times pretty good, but it was mostly Prado on the feet. And everyone's saying, "Oh, the grappling. He was so close to getting submission." No, he wasn't. The closest any submission came or anything finishing wise was the third round guillotine with Prado. Radke survived it. I had to go the distance, so I was sweating when that happened, but Radke survived it. He knew he was up, so he needed to do everything he can to remain calm. Don't panic, because that's the thing with guillotines. If you panic, then it's going to get worse and worse. So he didn't panic, and Prado ended up not getting it, stuck on bottom. I think he reversed him like the dire last seconds, but it doesn't matter. That's more my point. I don't think he's levels above him. I think he's a better grappler, but as an MMA fighter, it's not that way at all. So congrats to people that played Radke. I don't have the balls to bet him. I bet a little bit on Prado decision at big numbers and split decision at big numbers, which could have been a thing, but His takedown defense would not allow that to happen. So would have been a best scenario if he would have won a decision or a split. But can't get it all. I'm just happy to catch the main part, which was go the distance. Moving on. This was my number one pick last week. Again, say that with a grain of salt because last week I didn't like it. I just gave it out because I'm not going to give it out even if the card's horrible when it comes to free squares or anything. No excuse. I should be doing better. I'm just saying like it wasn't a good card. So to keep that in mind. Yeah, we had Gaslam. I thought Gaslam would be able to do what he did at the start of the fight and just land the better shots, but Gaslam, I don't know, maybe he felt uncomfortable, but he shot on Fluke, and I'm like, what am I watching right now? When he shot on Luke, I was like, yeah, this is about to be interesting. And I had Luke sub at big numbers. I gave that out to the Discord, but I just said to myself, I'm like, man, Luke could easily get a sub here if Gaslam does something stupid like shooting. But it actually came from a knockdown sequence where Gaslam was trying to get up after getting dropped, and he just got caught in a variation of Luke's darce. And Luca got the sub. It was a beautiful finish. Gaslam, tapped, and Luque gets the. I think he got a performance bonus. I'm not really sure, but yeah, man, good for Luque. Yeah, man, I'm happy to see the Silent Assassin get a win in the Big 2026. It's nice to see the good guys on top. Yeah, man. Oh, and by the way, I'm back home. If you guys were wondering, I'm not really in my office right now, so I had to get some stuff done with the family. I'll be back in the home probably this week, if not next. So back in the office, I mean. But yeah, for today we get a little bit of a try to put my head in front of the light. It's probably early morning when I'm doing this video, so try to keep the sun out of your guys' eyes. But yeah, man, what a great card. Well, pretty good card, and Gaslam, you know, he is just turning into one of those fighters. I'm not saying Luque is a bum, but Gaslam just was always going to be a journeyman. I guess never thought he would get to that top. I just remember the era where Gaslam was like holding a belt everywhere, pretending he was the champion, and I'm just thinking to myself, that is the closest you'll ever get to a title. No disrespect, but yeah, he's a great fighter, and I remember his run on the Ultimate Fighter. Everyone had high hopes for him, but the UFC is truly the cream of the crop, and if you can't get there, it is what it can't get to that top echelon. It's not that big of like a oh you're a bomb. It's just you're not at that level. It's no disrespect. It's just a reality. You'd do better in like a PFL setting probably, but like in a UFC setting, it's just like it's like a it's like a shark den. It's like you can only. That's why I hold high regards for UFC champions usually, depending on the weight class. But 170, 185, I guess they're both technically. Well, Calvin's more 185 than Luque, but it is what it is. Good on Luque. Got the win. We're moving on. Let's get right through this. I'm not going to speak too long about this. I'm trying to go out for breakfast here with family, so got to get done here at a reasonable hour. Yeah, man. Moving on. We had Markel Medeiros versus Chris Padilla. I thought this was a close fight, reasonably. I edged Padilla rounds 2 and 3 or 1 and 3, but honestly, I could see a dumb judge giving Padilla 2, but I did not expect a dumb judge to give Medeiros 1. I thought Medeiros did not enough to get the decision, just based on the fact that he was always on the back foot, and it was pretty bad optics, especially in the third. It looked like he was not melting, but like getting tired and succumbing to the pressure. I just thought Padilla did more work. But it is what it is. The judge gave rounds 1 to Medeiros, but they gave 3 to or I don't know, man. It was really weird scoring. Not great judging tonight. But yeah, man, Padilla got Medeiros. I had Medeiros as a bet and as my third most confident pick. That just should tell you how low confidence I was with this card. But yeah, Medeiros got the. I only bet him because it was dog money, but he fought for my money. I'm proud of Medeiros. He did. I thought with his historic cardio issues that maybe it wouldn't go that way, but he defended all the takedowns. Well, basically all of them. He fought his fight, and he actually went elbow for elbow. In fact, I think he landed better elbows in that fight against Chris Padilla, who's known for his elbows. So, Medeiros is a talented guy. Excited to see how he keeps improving in the sport. See, this is why I got to keep my head like right around here. Sorry, guys. But yeah, man, Tatiana Suarez. We'll get through this fight. You know, I thought Padilla should have won, but I'm happy with the draw. I get my money back. It's kind of weird how it took a while for them to actually get the correct scorecards, but whatever. Like I said, I get my money back. I'm content. Moving on, Tatiana Suarez versus Lupita Godinez. Lupita Godinez, honestly, I don't know, man. She's just, I think, at a weight class. Maybe it's too big for her. But I don't know, man, because Tatiana's also a really big 115er. So maybe it's just Tatiana being that physical, because she is super physical. She is really good. She's really good. She is a really good grappler. I just think Lupi's wrestling I thought would be enough to like maybe keep this on the feet. But the size I did factor in as well. That's why I did pick Tatiana. I wasn't confident. I had this as a 50-50 fight. And Lupe hurt her early, but like Tatiana just is such good. She has such heart and will to win, and she has such good grappling. So, Tatiana gets a win. It's nice to see her get a win. She's been struggling lately. Ever since those injuries, I had really high praise for Tatiana Suarez. She's a phenomenal grappler. Great mindset for the sport. I've watched her grapple in the training room. She just ragdolls these girls, and she's mean. Like she knows how to be mean. She has that winner's mindset. So, good for Tatiana. She got the win, and yeah, we're moving on to the next one. I'm trying to see time. Sorry, guys. It's the last time I'm gonna check for this recap part of it. But yeah, man, Tatiana Suarez gets the win. Moving on, Mateus Gamrot versus Esteban Ribovics. Esteban Ribovics, man, this guy just can't grapple. He got outclassed by Kamala Kirk, I'm pretty sure, a while back, and I just don't think he's ever like truly improved. Like if you look at his fights, like he's honestly like he's not really like Loic beat him. Nak Hasparas beat him. It was a close fight, but he beat him. Um, and I'm pretty sure did he beat Kirk? Yeah, he beat Kirk. Okay, maybe he did beat Kirk, but I just don't think Kirk's known for his like relentless grappling. Like Gamrot's a really good wrestler, and he has pretty good top control. He got to the submission. I was not expecting that. I expected a decision, but Gamrot gets a sub. Good for Gamrot. Ribovics is just honestly, he's just not at that level, and I don't think he will be. Argentina's grappling is not really that high level. Aileen Perez, entered as a chat, but other than her, I don't really see anyone at the high levels of grappling from Argentina. So yeah, Mateus Gamrot gets the win. Good for Gamrot, reminding these young guys who he is. These unks at the lightweight division are here to stay. Good for Gamrot. Moving on, Kevin Holland versus Randy Brown. Randy Brown is just unbelievably mid. He's got some talent on the feet. He can be dangerous on the feet, and he can be dangerous with his chokes and stuff. But he got put in a really bad Darce, and man, if that Darce would have hit, I would have been so happy because I would have hit my cycle parlay. In hindsight, I probably should have put Gamrot or something in it, but that's hindsight because I didn't think Gamrot would have got that sub. I had inside to go the distance for Radke and Prado, and then I had Ulberg by KO and Holland sub, so I was one leg away of cashing that, but it is what it is. Would have been nice, woulda, coulda, shoulda. It is what it is. Holland. My initial pick was Holland, but I switched it last second. So if you guys actually got in on my pick, then on Holland, then good for you. But in the Discord, I did switch picks to Brown. Maybe I know you're gonna say, "Oh, why didn't you post your switch pick?" Oh, because I did it last second. I just thought about it more, and you went to dog odds, and I'm just like, man, Brown theoretically should be able to win on the feet. The thing I wasn't anticipating was Holland's calf kicks. He never really follows a game plan. He just kind of scraps. And I thought Brown would land some, he landed some big shots. That left hook he landed at the start of the first was really nice, but honestly, he just didn't do enough, and he got, pretty complacent a lot of times, and he was doing a lot of stupid stuff that was contradictory to winning the decision. And it is what it is. 30-27 Holland. I'm not mad at it. I'm mad more at Brown's performance. It is what it is. Moving on. We had Aaron Pico versus Patricio Pitbull. Aaron Pico's the truth, man. He looked a little slow in the first round. He lost the first round. Pitbull was just using good get-ups. He was landing the better shots in round one. I think Pico was downloading data because in the second round, he just completely annihilated Pitbull, dropped him, hurt him a few times. I don't know how Pitbull ate a lot of those shots. Pitbull's a beast. especially for his age. He's like 38 years old. Pico's in his prime. Pico's body work, his speed, his wrestling, his power, his cardio. Like this guy's got it all. He's got to work on his durability. I don't think he can work on it, but like he's got to just keep working defense because he's not the most durable guy, and stay out of submission threats. I think he's improved on that, but we'll know when he gets to the higher levels fighting guys. I don't know if Diego Lopez is going to stay at 145, but I would like to see how that fight would play out. Now that's interesting to me. But I think Pico's probably going to fight Vallejos next, so that'll be a fun one. Oh, I lied, guys. Sorry. Okay. One more. I won't do that again for the rest of this recap. My bad. I mean it this time. Pico gets the win. Yeah, it is what it is. This guy's the truth. Moving on. Cub Swanson versus Nate Landwehr. Nothing to really to write home about. Nate Landwehr is beyond wash. I know it's Cub Swanson, so I'm not really going to take too much away from Landwehr, but man, 45 fights in the UFC, or 45 fights as a pro, and he just has not missed a beat. This guy is crazy talented, crazy good, nasty boxing, just a scrapper by every means necessary. Absolute legend. I'm gonna miss him. 43 years old or something now, so it is time for him to call it a career. I do agree, but he could still fight. That's the crazy part. He is really, really good. Nate Landwehr is beyond washed. He just looks slow. He can't handle damage as well. And yeah, I just think Nate Landwehr is, I think he's done. I think he's gonna get. I think his record's gonna flip here soon at this rate, if the way he's been looking lately. But yeah, Cub Swanson gets the win. Good for Cub. I wish him the best with his family. He's got a beautiful family. I wish him the best. And thank you for everything you've done for the sport. God bless you, Cub. Moving on, we have Johnny Walker versus Cubs versus Dominic Reyes. Honestly, Dominic Reyes, he just did a little more than Johnny Walker in the second and third. It was such a bad fight. Just a bunch of kicking and punching and no real like commitment to knocking anyone out. It was just mostly like a point sparring, average rec sparring match. They weren't trying to kill each other. It was just very, very lackadaisical. I can understand why they gave him a split. I don't agree with the one judge who was the judge that disagreed with the other two. Was that Johnny won the third? I don't see how he could win the third. What Reyes did a lot more, but it was so weird of a fight. I'm not even gonna get mad at the judge. It is what it is. He probably wasn't even watching at one point. I would probably got up and left. But yeah, Reyes gets the win. Yeah, man. It is what it is. Dominic Reyes is, he said it. He's like, I'm trying to, make money. Like Pico said, I'm trying to make money. I'm not trying to just entertain people for the sake of entertaining people. He's got to try to focus on getting that second check. But if you're gonna fight like that, man, I don't know, man. That was a really, really bad fight. Moving on, we have Curtis Blades versus. Sorry, I gotta trim this. It's going into my nose, going into my mouth. Sorry, guys. Josh Hockett versus Curtis Blades. I gotta go. I went with Curtis Blades as a pick. Um, it was just not a good performance or not. Sorry, it was not a good representation of what I thought was going to be. I thought Blades would definitely be able to melt him, and it did look like he was going to after the first round. Hockett looked done, but I think it was a lot of like playing possum. Like he looked like he was just trying to make Curtis think he was tired, just so he could blow his energy out, and then Hockett would be in a position where that speed would be still a very because he's faster than a lot of these heavyweights. He just really is. He wasn't always this fast, but he's definitely made improvements. Um, it's I just think Hockett's the truth, man. Like I didn't always think this, but he's got a good mind for the sport. He's extremely athletic, good takedown defense, good takedown offense. He doesn't wrestle offensively because it gets him tired. And he put it on Curtis Blades. He landed flurry after flurry. I don't know how Curtis ate a lot of these shots. Like Curtis will look done at a few points, but man, good on Curtis. He fought back. He made it a really good fight. Probably one of the best heavyweight fights I've ever seen. One of them. I don't know. I'd have to go through them all to see which one was the best, but that was truly a really good fight, and I'm honored to have been able to say I was there to watch it. Yeah, great win for Hockett. He's back at the White House card versus Derek Lewis. I think that's a much easier matchup. But it'll be interesting if he goes for. I don't even think that will happen. I think Lewis gets taken down and that'll be it. But if Hockett, he's a little too hittable, and if Lewis lands on you, I could see Lewis putting him out cold. But I do think Hockett probably wins. People are saying, should I bet him at these odds, -400? I'm like, go for it. You want to bet heavyweight chalk? Go for it. Straight, especially, like, go for it, you know. But I wouldn't do it personally, but to each his own. Anyways, Josh Hockett, good win. Very cringy off on the mic, etc. But, you know, if he's going to fight like that every time, you can say whatever you want. Moving on. Paulo Costa versus Azamat Mirzakhanov. Paulo Costa, Paulo Costa just does really well against southpaws, especially guys that are just, you know, heavy hands, don't kick much. He's not fighting Marvin Vettori here, who's just tougher than nails. I think Marvin Vettori just has that next level chin, and I do think it was his first time at 205, whereas this is his second or third now. I think he was a little more comfortable at this weight class this time. He did get tired, but you know, the odds flipped to like plus 600. I got in on that. That cashed me out huge because Costa. I also had decision for Costa, but I gave out. I had decision in a parlay. One of my buddies, he put out a Lambo parlay and I tailed it. He just needed Costa decision. And that would have cashed pretty nicely for me. But honestly, I couldn't decide between the KO or decision. So I gave out KO, but you know, it is what it is. It was most likely going to go to a decision. But Mirzakhanov, man, he couldn't take any more of the damage. The kicks were getting to him, going to the body, going to the legs, going up top. He does the same thing against. He did the same thing against a few other opponents. Marvin was one of them. Um, there's a few different situations like that, and I just do think Mirzakhanov was overrated. I knew this going into it, I thought to myself I did give him out as my number set two to pick, but it was only because like I had it lined exactly where it was, and I just couldn't think of anything that was like better because a lot of this card was 50-50 in my opinion. So you know, Mirzakhanov gets the win, or sorry, Paulo Costa gets the win, third round knockout. Good for Costa. He's back. Some political stuff went down last night. I'm not even going to get into it. This isn't a political channel. But it was a pretty gross card as far as that aspect of it. But I'm not going to get into it. So it is what it is. Paulo Costa gets the win. Moving on. Carlos Ulberg versus Yuri Prohaska. Okay, this was I had Ulberg for the same very reason. I just feel like he's dangerous early, rounds one and two, and I do think Yuri is just a little too lackadaisical with his defense, especially early. And that left hand always being down against a guy who's throwing that check left hook is just it's going to be a problem. Or the right hand. Actually, it would have been the right hand, yeah. But yeah, it's just he keeps his hands too low, and Uberg just found that kill shot. But let's talk about before that. I don't know what occurred. I think it was something Ulberg did, but he hurt his own knee. I think he tore his MCL, and you could tell he was very hurt. He could not really stand properly, and Yuri just let up. He didn't flurry. He didn't do anything. He just kind of let him back into the fight. He told him to stay in the middle and trade. Kind of gave him a chance to win. Yuri even said after the fight that was where he made a mistake. You can't be showing mercy in fights like with this level of magnitude, and it's honorable because he is a samurai, he's a warrior. But if you're trying to be the best and have that killer instinct, that like John Jones would have oblique stomped that dead leg. So that's just what differentiate the great and the good. Like you can be a good guy but in that cage, you got to throw all that out the window. You got to like just being fair and fighting fair. But when it comes to situations like that, you got to win, man. You have to. So Yuri knows where he went wrong. I'm sure he'll adjust. But great win for Carlos. I had the KO one. Sorry, I had KO one and Ulberg money line. So that cashed us out nice on the card. Finished about 7 units on the card. Thanks to that and thanks to Reyes and Costa live spots. Really, really good card. Lost a few of the pre-bet spots. One, 0, 1, and 1. And then I gave out Brown. So 0 and 2 and then 1. But like I said, I was expecting to lose a lot on this card. I said this might be the first card of the year where I leave the card negative for profit, but that was completely wrong. Like I always count on live betting on cards like this, and thank God I did because I almost went to bed after one of the fights, but I'm just like, you know what, man? Like, I know I'm gonna find a live spot. This card's bound for it, and then what do you know? Reyes happened, Costa happened. Now we're right back in the game, up like 3 to 4. No, it's five point something units after that because I put 3 units on Reyes, um, at plus money, and then I put about I think I put like a quarter unit or like a half unit. Yeah, a half unit. So not a quarter. I put like a half unit plus 600 on Costa live, and I wanted to keep slamming it, but the odds kept locking. So It is what it is, man. I thought those odds were crazy. In hindsight, I should have put more on that Costa spot. That was really sketchy with the Reyes fight, but I was like, man, I see an opportunity here. I'm gonna take it. If it doesn't pan out, it doesn't pan out. But I'm grateful the judges got that one right. So you know what it is. It's one of those cards, man. I'm just happy I made it out, and the streak continues. So all the haters talking below, saying, "Oh, you need to hit your pre-flop spots." Yeah, I agree. You know that's important. And last week, the week before, I did, so they can't say anything. I lose a few straight bets, cash the main parlays I give out. Then that doesn't matter. The straight bets don't matter at the end of the day. If I'm up on straight bets, I'm up on props, I'm up on live bets. As long as I'm up on the night, that's all that should matter, right? But some people just need any excuse to try to throw shade because they have nothing going on in their lives, so they just want to throw shade on anyone else. It's just crazy. Like I said, there's people in the game who are losing week after week after week, but in those for those people, I don't even feel the need to go comment on their stuff. I just if you're charging a bunch of money and stuff like that and losing week after week, I'm still not going to say anything. I just do think it is funny. But a lot of these guys, just like myself, don't charge, and we're just doing this stuff out of the kindness of our hearts, or genuinely just have a passion for it and want to, be part of the community. For me, I just genuinely want to help out. I know I'm good at what I do, so I'm giving people free game. Like we cashed a 3 unit banger last night in Fury FC. We had a really good week. Smoked EFC's parlay builder, smoked 1FC's parlay builder, cashed the early 1FC card, cashed the late 1FC card. I cashed every card I did this week. So I'm really, really happy with, the position I'm in. I'm having a record year, almost 160 units on the year, and we're in April. You know what I mean? We're not even halfway down the year yet, so I got a lot of really good work still to do. My goal is 20 units a month. I have far past surpassed that goal. I know the year's not over yet, so I'm not gonna get too excited, but man, I'm killing it right now. So no one can tell me nothing. But yeah, moving on. Let's get to this UFC Fight Night Burns versus Malott card. Oh, actually, let's give you my picks. I'm gonna be honest though. I'm not gonna just say Holland because I gave him out on the channel. I did switch picks, so let's go. Radke 1, Luke 2, or sorry, Gastelum, so 1-1. Medeiros 1-1-1 draw. Suarez I had, so 2-1-1. Esteban I had as a pick, so 2-2-1. Holland I gave out as a pick, switched it to Brown 2-3-1. Pico I gave as a pick, so 3-3-1. Cub Swanson I gave as a pick, 4-3-1. Reyes I gave as a pick, 5-3-1. I gave Blaze as a pick, 5-4-1. Paulo Costa, Mirzakhanov I gave as a pick, 5-5-1. Ulberg I gave as a pick, 6-5-1. So again, not great, honestly. Like we went slightly over the 50% margin, so I'm not proud of the picks. But like I said, that week I gave out the picks. This isn't going to be an easy card for picks, and I wouldn't be surprised if I go in the negative on picks. I didn't do that, but pretty much I'm not happy with this. I'm content because as long as we're profiting on the card, that's all that matters. And like I said, we did about 7.3 units, so I'm content. Great card. Moving on. UFC Fight Night Burns versus Malott. Let's get right into it. Let's see what we did for time. Okay, almost 30 minutes. Not the worst, not the best. Let's get right into it. UFC Fight Night Winnipeg. Starting at the bottom, we got Jamie Siraj versus John Yanis. I think Jamie Siraj is. I don't know if he's UFC ready, but this might be a good matchup for him because John Yanis has been known not to have the greatest grappling. I want to remember who he fought for Contender Series. It was Bashi. So it's like I don't think Siraj has his level of grappling. I think his jiu-jitsu is pretty good. He's experienced. Um, he beat. He hasn't really proved was Nick Aguirre. Like Nick Aguirre is a pretty good grappler, jiu-jitsu player. He TKO'd him, so that's pretty similar of a win. But I just think Siraj is relentless. Eshaveri. Is that the same Eshaveri I'm thinking of? I think it's the Fury FC Eshaveri. Yeah, it's the Fury FC. So who cares about this one? Yeah, man. No, that's not the Thiago Macedo. I was like, not Thiago Moises. Yeah, man. I just don't think John Yanes is honestly. I don't think he's at the level of the UFC, and I do think he will get figured out pretty soon by these guys. But I just think John Yanes. What odds do they have for this fight? Let me see this. I think John Yanesh. I think this fight should be like Siraj negative 200 would be fair. Maybe even less. Let me see what I have. Let me see what I gave odds for this fight as. Um, Okay, negative 250. I'll probably go negative, yeah, 250, negative 200. That's probably where I would cap it. I wouldn't go any higher. Let me see the odds. Winnipeg. People played Burns. Holy, like he's down to plus 330. He was like plus 500 or plus four something at one point. So people have been playing Burns. But yeah, we'll get into that after. Yeah, I have it exactly where it's lying. He's like negative 257 right now. So I would probably say Giannis 2-3 KO would probably be my read for Giannis. But as far as Siraj, I do think Siraj maybe picks up a submission. I think he probably wins by decision, but I could see him also winning by submission. I'm gonna go with Siraj decision after a pretty stressful second and third round. But Siraj has been waiting for this moment. Big fight for Siraj. He's been trying to get to the UFC for a long time now. Happy for him. How old is Siraj? He's 31 years old, so he's out in the UFC at the right time because this is now or never for Siraj. So I see Siraj coming out hot, getting his first win in the UFC. He's got the home crowd advantage. I got to go with Siraj here. I think it's pretty self-explanatory why. But again, I could see some bullshit in the second or third round. Maybe Yanis puts a pace on him, stuffs some takedowns, gets him out of there. Because I know Siraj does not deal with damage on the feet that well. But we'll see. I think because he got TKO by Diego Brandao, and I know Diego Brandao's a beast. He's on roids, etc. I just think John Yanis is also game. I don't think he's very good, but I think he's game, and it could cause some problems down the stretch. But Jamie Siraj should win this fight. Okay, moving on. We have Mark Vologden versus John Castaneda. Now, I don't know if anyone remembers who Mark Vologden is. He hasn't fought since his Contender Series fight, but after his Contender Series fight, I anticipated he'd take some time off. That was an absolute war. Both guys got hurt pretty bad. I learned this guy is resilient. He's going to come and he's going to scrap. The thing about Vologden is he doesn't have the highest level of experience. He's got some pretty dangerous striking. He can be dangerous. He does carry power, but when it comes to like technicians, I think they're going to cause him problems. And if you look at the odds, John Castaneda is a lot of things. He's not the best when it comes to fight IQ, but he is very skilled. And oh, look at that, those odds flipped as well. Yeah, this fight's it was plus money on Castaneda. Now it's probably where I would line at Pick'ems. If that goes to a favorite to Castaneda, like negative 150, I also wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, I do think Castaneda. Let me see who I have as a pick. Just making sure Yeah, I have Castaneda in this one. I just think Vologden. He does have good pressure. He does carry some good power, but I just don't think his overall defense is there. I don't think his win, like he doesn't really have any like really good wins. He hasn't done anything to show me he's at the level of the UFC. He fought pretty hard, but in my opinion, they mostly got the contract because of how good the fight was. I don't think it was how good he was or etc. So I think this is one of those fights where I think he loses. Another Dana White Contender Series guy loses in their debut. I think this is one of those spots. I'm gonna have to give Castaneda probably like a 55 to 60, probably 60% chance he wins this fight. I'm pretty not confident or anything, but I'm pretty not certain. It's hard to say sure or certain. I have a pretty good feeling that this is what's going to happen. Blogden is just too hittable in my opinion. Calf kicks could be there as well for Castaneda. I think his kicking game is going to be there. He's got good movement. He's got good corner. I don't know. I just think Castaneda has what it takes to get this job done. But you never know, man. Maybe Vologden, gets that big knockout and shuts the. I mean, he's not. None of these guys are hometown guys, but maybe like crowd goes crazy after a big knockout. I think it's this is probably one of the better fights on the card. If you wanted me to give you first of all an overall card rating, I would have to say like this card is probably like a 6. I would say a 6 because I had two friends fighting on the card. Well, two friends. I know LeBlanc, but I'm more close with Jazz and Mike, obviously. But yeah, man, I just think this is a pretty bad card. I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, anyways, back on topic. I do have Castaneda winning by decision or by knockout. But I'm going to go with decision. Moving on. Mitch Raposo versus Alan Nascimento. I got to go with Alan Nascimento. I just think his jiu-jitsu is far superior, and he did show some pretty good striking in his last fight. The thing is, this could be another apple pie shitter. Like last week, there was two, and I had them both as my picks. This could be another example of that because Cody Durden was, I think it was Cody Durden, was it? I can't remember. I'd have to watch back film. I'm pretty sure he was losing some striking exchanges, and he just started like finding his range on the feet, and he started like doing some good work. I can't remember the exact sequences. I just remember Nascimento was doing a lot of really good work on the feet, and I wasn't used to seeing. And I don't think he's a really good striker. I don't. I think actually Mitch is a much more fundamentally sound striker. But man, I can't unsee Hadley submitting Mitch. I know that was a while ago, but I just think Nascimento is one of the better guys in the division, and his jiu-jitsu is legit. He beat Rafael Filo. He subbed Cody Durden, subbed Carlos Fernandez. He beat the guy that beats Raposo and Jake Hadley. So it's like he has good wins. My worry for him is maybe he gets out wrestled or outstruck because Mitch has been improving. People want to trash on Mitch. I get it. He used to not be the guy I would look to as like, oh, this is my guy. But his last fight, I did bet him as a dog against Zat Maxim. I just think he did better. I thought he clearly outlanded Maxim. I feel like he did better with the scrambles. Good takedown defense. I just think the guy's good, man. I think Mitch Raposo has improved a lot. I don't know if he's team. Yeah, he's a New England cartel, but that's the only thing that worries me is he has a really bad team. But I just think he's one of the guys that are like still keeping their gym relevant, and I do think this could be a good spot for him to pull another upset. He did go to a split decision with Sumaderji. Kind of bullshit, honestly. I think Soon won that unanimous, but regardless, he got a split versus Sudamart and against Andre Lima. Or no, it was Andre Lima. That one was the weird one. Wasn't it both of them actually? Yeah, this guy's good at making fights close as well. So I'm gonna let me see the odds for this because I really don't like betting. Yeah, it's yeah. I have the odds way off on my Discord. I'm gonna change that. I'm gonna change it. I don't know, man. I have a weird feeling with this fight that Nascimento could somehow screw this. I know he has really good wins, but I don't know. Maybe Mitch pulls another upset. He always seems to like rising to the occasion, but this is a tough matchup because Raposo has legit jiu-jitsu, and he's big for the weight class. So I don't know, man. Definitely a weird fight to call. My pick is going to be Sumidarji. My pick is going to be Nascimento. But again, I will not be surprised if Raposo just does his thing. He's got a really good process, good game, good fight IQ. So I'm gonna go Nascimento, but I would not be surprised to see an upset and see Raposo somehow get his hand raised. So yeah, man, gonna move on though. Got a lot of the cards still to go, and it's getting late. Gotta get out of here, get some breakfast in me. Moving on, we have Jamie Lynn Horth versus JJ Aldridge. This is what I mean by fights for the card. We have two women's fight back to back. At least one of them is going to be a striking affair. I see this being a lot of grappling. Jamie Lynn Horth is going to try to keep it on the feet, in my opinion. But I also have seen her, engage in the grappling against girls that are just trying to grapple her. So you never know. I do like Jamie. I met her at the gym. She's really cool. I'm rooting for Jamie to win, but she is at 36 years old. So, what time did she get into the game? She started training 10 years ago. She started at 26 years old, beating Lupita Godinez by an amateur twice. So she's been fighting a while. She's TKO'd Jade Masson Wong. I'd have to watch that back because that is a pretty cool statistic. She used to finish girls at a higher rate. She fought Haley Cowan, beat her in her debut. Veronica Hardy, that was not a good look. Got taken down a few times. It was relatively close, but she got taken down. I don't really rate Hardy that well. She's pretty good, but I just think Horth is also pretty good. So, this is weird. She lost to Ivana Petrovic. That was a really bad look. That was not a good look at all. Or no, she beat Petrovic. What am I saying? Read it wrong. But that fight was not a good fight. I will say that. So it was a little too close for my liking. She lost to Miranda Maverick. That was annoying because I did have her as a dog shot in that fight. She didn't kind of let me down there. But then she did well these last few fights. The last fight, I had her around 2-3 TKO and she got it in one. That pissed me off. Mostly on the Bleda side. Bled is just, I think, done. I think she's washed. She had that injury and hasn't really been able to return. But yeah, she got a pretty good win there. Jamie Lynn Horth is probably riding confidence. She's on a 2-fight winning streak. She beat Vanessa Demopoulos. What happened to Vanessa? Has she fought this year? I don't think she has. Let me see. 11-8. Wow. She hasn't fought since last summer, so she's been off for a bit. Jamie Lynn Horth, I think Horth wins, but Aldridge, man, she's a gamer. She is really technical, and I could see her somehow finding a way to win this fight. Like she won a fight against Andrea Lee, which is not that impressive, but she's a similar, and she's not as good as Horth, but she's around the same size. So it's, but also she hasn't fought in a year, Aldridge, So that's also another thing. She might come off ring rust. She lost to Veronica Hardy. So I don't know, man. We haven't really got to see much from JJ in a while, so I'm gonna go with Horth, lay off, and Horth riding some momentum. I'm gonna go with Horth. I lean her. Let me see what odds they gave her for this one. Can't imagine anything too wide. Um, oh yeah, she is negative 185. So I'd probably agree with that, to be honest. I do think Horth probably wins. I wouldn't go past like negative 160, but it's around where I'd have it. So I wouldn't say I would like, oh, that's odds I would play JJ, but if it keeps climbing, then I could see people making that argument. But I'm gonna go with Horth here. People are probably wondering, Jaden, why would you not bet it? It's slightly off your odds. If I give you a negative 160, I think she wins at that odds. Now, if it's negative 200 even, and you say, okay, she's negative 200, bet the 150. That I wouldn't do that because why? Because I have her at, 60% confidence, 60, 62, 63% confidence, and she's now, 67, 70% confidence. So you should fade her. No, that doesn't really make a lot of sense. Where I would say fading makes sense, and just for value perspective, is when she's like 80% line, like negative 300, negative 400, which isn't 80%, it's negative 400. But regardless, I do think Horth probably wins this fight. I lean her, but it's not like a lock or anything. But yeah, let's move on. Talk too long about this fight. Daria Lesnikova versus. I'm giving these a little bit more in depth. Maybe I should do more of my predictions in the morning. I have more on my mind in the morning. I'm less fatigued. Yeah, Melissa Croden versus Daria Lesnikova. I think Daria probably wins. But man, this is a weird fight, especially as later the fight goes. I think Lesnikova is probably going to piece Croden up. She's just a little too slow, Croden is, in my opinion. I love Croden. I have like a little crush on her too. She's just, I don't know, something about her. But I think Croden is just too slow. And I don't know what's with these girls from Canada, but a lot of them are just at the end of their career, like age wise. Like, she doesn't have a long time left in her career, so, and she only has like 8 fights or 9, 10. What am I doing? What am I saying? Well, this will be her 10th fight. And you're facing a girl who's half your age. I think Daria's like in her 20s, maybe. I have to check. And she has more fights than you. So it's like, I don't know, man. This is weird. The one thing that she has over Daria is her will to win. And when it gets gritty and grindy, she knows how to like push. And that's what really worries me for Zlesnikova is in those hard push situations in rounds 2 and 3. I could see Zlesnikova getting really tired and Croden just pouring it on her. Because Zlesnikova's been finished by Melissa Dixon. And she has not looked that good in her career. I think Aileen Perez finished her as well. I think she melts when things get too tough. And I think Croden could find a 2-3 here. So that will be live. I will be looking at that for props. I do think Croden will struggle early. But that's why I said this is a weird fight. Because as the fight goes on, I could see this getting to be a lot of clinching. I think Lesnikova's takedown defense. Sorry, I'm just getting my charger. I think her takedown defense will be enough to keep Croden off of her. But if it gets too grimy on the fence, I could see Croden somehow getting her down. And if she gets her down, I think it's going to be a nightmare for Daria. Not that like Croden's like a Jazz or anything on top, but I just think Croden is a dog. And if she smells blood or weakness, she's gonna go, 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 go. And I don't know. That's why I said it's a weird fight. I'm going to lean Daria just because we're counting on a lot of ifs and maybes with Croden. But skill for skill on the feet, Daria I feel like is much better on the feet. She's just way faster as well, more pop on her shots. Croden gets a little like she's got power, but she's just a little too slow. Yeah, she's 30 years old. She's not much younger than her. She's still 30, but she's 10-2. She's got like 5 or 6 good years left in her. Who knows how many fights she'll have by then? So that's what my point, what I was saying earlier. But she got her revenge against Melissa Mullins. You know, oh, it's an arm triangle. But regardless, man, she's dangerous on the feet. She can be very dangerous, but if she doesn't get that KO and the fight gets extended, and I feel like her footwork's also going to help her because Melissa Croden's footwork is also not that good. Um, I just think Zlizakova probably wins. I think she probably wins by decision is my guess. I think Zlizakova is going to be too fast, and she's going to have a smart game plan for this fight. But again, you never know. Don't be so sure. I have this fight for odds wise. I have this fight at yeah. I'm gonna change that. I don't know why that's there. I can't even spell her name. Niakova. I have this fight as 50-50, so this could go either way. Let me see the odds here. Yeah, they have Croden actually as the favorite. I would probably disagree. Um, because I do think I'd probably take Daria at these odds to be honest. I think plus money is decent. Um, put a little bit on it. Don't go crazy. You can. That's my guess is she wins round one, and then you can arb out. But you never know. I have no interest in betting this fight, so don't have any strong read here. Could go either way, in my opinion. But we'll see. I think early is going to be Daria. That is something I am decently confident in. But how this fight ends, I don't know. Moving on, we have Tanner Boser versus Gokhan Sarakam. This is by far the worst fight on the card. Um, and that's being said with women. Actually, it's close. But Gorakam Sarakam is a fraud. He's a man from Turkey, 35 years old. He is, you know, he has some decent power. You know, ground and pound. He TKO'd Ioga Silva, who is horrible. I should make sure it's the same guy. He beat Daniel James with grappling, who's a veteran. Kirill Saidakov, Said Sama. So he has some. I remember I cashed money on that Sama bet. That was good. He beat Jaffe Hulton, who I don't rate that highly. But he got Kimura by Maori. He got dominated by Popov. And those aren't the worst losses, but I don't know, man. I just feel he beats the guys like Tanner Boser, but I feel like any of these better heavyweights are gonna beat him. So, well, yeah, my pick to answer your question, which you're probably wondering, is I picked Saracom. I just think Saracom's footwork and movement is gonna be better. I feel like he's gonna land the better shots. Maybe grapple if needed. I just don't think Boser's good. Like I just think Boser is just not good. He doesn't have good wrestling or grappling. Um, he's strong, He's got knockout power. Don't get me wrong, but he's just not good. I think he fought a few fights at 205. I could be wrong. Let me see. Yeah, he fought at light heavyweight. Like the guy's not really a heavyweight either. So it's like I don't really think he's that good. Like he lost to my guy Rodrigo Nascimento. Um, TKO by Kutalaba pretty badly, which is no shame. Kutalaba's the man. He beat a corpse of Oven St. Perud. TKO'd Rafael Pessoa, who I don't rate as well. He TKO'd Felipe Lins, who at the time I didn't. He got better when he came back, but at that time he was at a downward trajectory in his career. So he has power. I'm not going to take that away from him, but and like the Vincenicius Mora win, like, come on, man, Mora's horrible. horrible. So that's probably one of the worst UFC fighters they've ever had. So you got to win over him. Now you're back in the UFC. I don't know, man. I think Sarah Khan wins this fight. He beat Kamur, which is interesting. Like I said, he maybe at 205 it's better for him, but at heavyweight, I don't know. He carries power, which can translate to heavyweight, but Saracom is good at footwork, making you miss. He's gonna have to crowd Saracom, and cutting him off is gonna be easier said than done. If he can't knock out Saracom, I feel like he just loses a decision. So I'm gonna go Saracom here. I feel like just Saracom is, has better wins, a better resume. And, this is his debut in the UFC. How old is Tanner now? Let me see it. One more thing before I let it go. He's 34 years old, so they're both around the same age. This is a really bad fight, if you're asking me. I think Saracom, you know, I don't know, man. I'm just going to limit my comments here. Just nothing positive I have to say about this fight, really. It's just another fight on the card they needed to fill up. Got another Canadian on the card. It is what it is. Moving on, Julian LeBlanc versus Robert Valentin. Now, I actually got to not train with LeBlanc, but I got to watch him train with my guy AJ when he came to NTT to train. I think Valentin is. I think Valentin's a pretty good fighter. By pretty good, I mean pretty mediocre. But he can be dangerous. I remember his run in, I can't remember the promotion. Was it Ares? Yeah, it was Ares. It wasn't like a run, but he had like this really nasty win where everything was all bloody and he just completely. And then he had a really good run on the Ultimate Fighter. Arm bars, punches. He can be dangerous. But we've also seen he struggles with wrestlers. Torres Finney fight was a joke. I can see why they almost gave him that win. He landed way more damage. Finney just held him. Loader completely destroyed him on the ground. And Gauthier, he was scared to fight him, which I would be too. Look at Gauthier. He's a scary guy. But LeBlanc, this is a weird one. Because I could see some weird stuff. What is the... I think Saracom was a slight favorite. What did I have? Sorry, one more thing. Yeah, okay, I thought that's exactly where they are. But back to this. I think Valentin versus LeBlanc is one of those fights where it's like, one's had UFC experience, one has not. One's riding confidence, one might not be. LeBlanc has won his last 5 fights. 3 out of the 5 are by finish. He hasn't lost a fight since Joel Bowman in 2021. So 5 years ago. I think this is a weird fight. Because again, he could find another finish. But against who? Darian Weeks, he's a shorter guy, so those knees were more readily available. Robert Valentin's a pretty tall guy. So if they're fighting around the same height, I don't... Like you saw the last time he fought someone around the same height, he lost. Chapman's a bum. Colker, meh, not that great. I remember he hurt LeBlanc, I'm pretty sure, if I can remember correctly. And Weeks was doing work, in my opinion, before that. So, I don't know, man. I think Valentin likely wins. Let me see who I have here. Let me see here. I don't want to give you guys the wrong pick. Yeah, I have Valentin. It's a slight lean. People were like, oh, should I take plus money? I wouldn't hate the pick. It's just, again, with odds. Oh, should I bet plus 150 in a 50-50 fight? It's like, that's what got me in trouble last week. That type of mentality. And I know the one fight was not a 50-50 fight. The one fight... But, just with that mentality, value betting isn't always the answer. I'm telling you that right now. Now, if it's a big underdog and you think it should be closer, that's the one thing. You're taking a chance. But in these types of fight, I would just, if you have a strong read on this fight, go with the strong read. Don't just take it for value purposes. Plus 120, I'm getting 20 cents on my dollar. Like, okay. Is it really worth it? You're sweating out this weird fight, and then if it hits, you pretend you knew it all along. It's like, if you have a strong read, you have a strong read. But if you don't, just stay away from this fight, man. Save yourself the stress. Like, people want to put themselves, they make this harder than it is. This fight, I would definitely lean LeBlanc or Valentin, but it's very close. I could see LeBlanc winning, I could also see Valentin winning. So it's one of those fights, 50-50. I want nothing to do with it. Be careful. Yeah, moving on. How many fights do we have left? 6 fights. And how long have we been going? Probably near an hour, right? Yeah. I'm gonna probably make this one of my longer videos I've done. You know, it is what it is. I have some pretty decent reads on this card, so moving on. We have Marcio Barbosa versus Dennis Bazooka. I got Marcio Barbosa, but I will say again, it's another fight that could be an apple pie shitter. If you look at Barbosa's record, he is an absolute savage. He is coming to take your head clean off. How many round 1 KOs does this guy have? Round 1, 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 round 1. That's like 18. I didn't count, but like you know what I mean? That's a lot of round 1 finishes. Now if you look at his round 2s, I know this is Gabriel Santos, but KO, round 2. Luis Felipe, KO, round 2. How are we supposed to know how this guy is going to look if this fight gets extended? How are we supposed to know? I don't know. That's the point of what I'm trying to say. He is uber dangerous early, but if he doesn't get his way, I could see him slowing down. And the one thing about Bazooka is this guy has power too. I don't think he's as good as Barbosa, but when someone's tired, no matter how good you think they are, it doesn't really matter. Another thing you got to factor in is Bazooka's been off for 2 years. Or near 2 years. So, I don't know what he's going to look like in 2026. But he's taking some time off. I see him losing round 1 submission. That is going to be my read. I see Barbosa winning in the first round again. Because we've seen him TKO'd in the first round. We've seen him submitted. Oh, no, that was a grappling competition. We've seen him, man, the fights that get extended. He also has some round 1 KOs as well, but he also has a submission in round 2 and a TKO in round 3. So if this fight goes extended, I could see Bazooka 2-3 TKO being very live. So again, there's some 2-3 spots I'm looking at. Some I'll parlay, some I'll not. You know, I could see a one of those types of 2-3 parlays, but this isn't going to be added in the parlay because we're counting on him surviving round 1, and I hate doing that type of stuff. I'm just probably going to play this straight. I got Barbosa round 1, and I'm going to go Bazooka 2-3. That's going to be my read for this fight, just because I don't trust either of them decision-wise. And I don't think betting money line is smart here. You may live bet Bazooka if you see Barbosa slowing down, but you can't bet Barbosa pre. Because if he doesn't win in round 1, like you're counting, like he's won a few decisions in his day, but like I don't know, I wouldn't want to play that game at negative 400. It's just kind of ridiculous. If you could just take the round 1 finish, he's like negative. Let me see here. Yeah, negative 450. I have no interest in betting that pre-flop. I almost did, thought about it, but I'm like, you know what, screw it. Just don't want to worry about this stress. So I'm gonna go Barbosa here. We'll see how this plays out. I got no interest in betting this pre-flop, but we'll see. We'll see how the week goes. Maybe I change my mind, but most likely not. I got to go with Barbosa here. Sub or KO first round. Moving on. We got Thiago Moises versus Gage Young. I don't know, man. This is another fight where it's like I don't really have a strong read here. I lean. Let me see who the favorite they have is. Yeah, I'm gonna have the same read as all these books because it's like they all have the same reads. I think Young is slightly a favorite here. Thiago Moises could submit him. You know, he's been submitted by lesser opponents, but Thiago is also, you know, he just got TKO by Jared Gordon. And Ludovic Klein he lost. Trey Ogden he beat. But he was losing that fight up until I believe the calf kicks, if I remember correctly. So I don't know, man. I feel like the calf kicks are there, but he beat Melchiles Costa and LFA, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. RNC, I remember that. But then you have Gage Young, who has been submitted. So yes, you know, he could get subbed. Who's he fighting for again? It doesn't say his gym. He just beat Mahashate in a pretty competitive striking match where I feel like he got the better exchanges. Um, he lost to Evan Alder, which is not no shame in him. Alder's a beast. And he didn't even really throw in that fight, which is frustrating. And then he lost to Quillen Saul Killed, but that was also a war. Like he put Quillen Saul Killed through a really good fight, and Saul Killed's a really good grappler. Other than that, he doesn't. He got subbed by Bobby Lee, which isn't a good look. But this isn't 2022 anymore. It's been 4 years. He's improved. I'm gonna go with Gage Young here. I just feel like one's in more of an upward trajectory, where one's just like a vet you got to watch out for. Um, I don't know, man. Like, sorry, I just making sure. I thought I saw the video. I gotta go with Gage Young here by I'm gonna go. This is tricky. I'm gonna go either TKO or decision, obviously, but I can't decide whether I prefer TKO or decision. Um, I'm gonna go TKO. That's gonna be my method of victory, but it could be a decision. So don't don't take that as like, oh, it's a lock. But if you get big numbers on the KO, maybe you take a look at it. Maybe it'll be worth a poke. I don't know. I'm gonna go with Gage Young here though. It's slight lean, so nothing really too confident, but I do think Gage Young. Sorry, my cat. I'll show you guys in a second. He's like my little lion. This is actually my cat. These are my roommate's cats. This is uh, this is my cat. Um, yeah, I'll show you in a sec. But let me get through this. Gage Young gets the win or gets the win here. I feel like he wins by KO. Ooh, sorry. Yeah, he's too. You'll see him. We'll see why. It just he is the cutest little Puss in Boots face. His dimples. His pupils get all dilated, and he's got like this. He was left out in the cold as a cat, so he's got a frostbitten nose, and it's just the cutest thing. But I'll show you guys after. Gets distracting working next to him. So I always gotta check because man, I don't want to talk. The video somehow stopped. Gage Young, that's my pick. Slight lean, nothing too confident. Moving on, here's where it gets interesting for you guys. What's Jaden going to say about his teammates? Jasmine Jasudavicius versus Karine Silva. I haven't really been there for her camp a lot of the time. I've been off training for a while. I'm focused on other stuff right now. But what I will say is this, and even if I was, I wouldn't go in depths of her training and what the, because it's none of your guys' business. And it's a bad teammate for my part if I were to tell everyone what she's doing. This is not. All I can say for sure is Jazz is a grinder. No matter what, she's gonna come out and she's gonna look to melt these girls. She's gonna look to, you know, be dominant. She doesn't like close fights. As you could tell, she's only been in a few in her career. How many splits has she been in? Yeah, split in 2020. That was her last split decision. Yeah, so, and that was her only split decision. And that was a robbery. So, you know, she doesn't fight close. When she loses dominantly. When she wins dominantly. So I think her last fight lit a fire under her ass. She took the time off. You know, it wasn't like she was concussed, but, you know, just to be safe, you know, in case it gets easier the next time or whatever. She took some time off, worked on her game, and who just messaged me? Anyways, Karine Silva, on the other hand, she's coming off a loss as well. But the one thing with Karine Silva is she hasn't really. I haven't seen that confidence in her in a little bit. Um, she's fought Macy Barber, and she kind of melted. And I know Macy's striking, you know, kind of made her grapple a little more, but Macy also offensively grappled. So I feel like if Macy could get her down, so can Jazz easily. She beat Dione Barbosa, which was pretty interesting. Barbosa's impressed me her last fight. She beat Ariane Lipski, but that was close. She submitted Moroz, Botella, Jan when she was losing that whole fight. She got this guillotine. So if Jazz gets caught, it's going to be a submission. I think Karine Silva does not have. I mean, she's got one TKO, but it was against like a bum, you know. So I think if she does get the win, it's going to be a submission because Jazz will be grappling. I can't see Jazz spending a lot of time on the feet. Maybe she does. I don't know. I don't know the game plan, right? Even if I did, I couldn't tell you. But I will say Jazz on the feet isn't as bad as people say. I feel like she's not as like pretty to watch on the feet, obviously, but she definitely has, she has power in that right hand especially. So I do think she could definitely strike with her a bit and win the exchanges on the feet. But I don't think it's optimal because Karine Silva's like she plays in the back foot a lot, circles and moves a lot. I don't know if that's a good idea here. Because Jazz will be hunting her down, and if she stays towards the cage, Jazz can get those easy takedowns. As long as Jazz watches out for the guillotines and leg locks and all of her little tricky submissions, I feel like Jasmine should absolutely just brutalize Karine Silva. I think later the fight goes, I think she's going to get slower and slower, and Jazz is going to melt her. But the thing that worries me about the 2-3 here is Karine Silva has really good jiu-jitsu. And getting her to those compromising crucifix positions, etc., is not going to be easy. She's going to have to be really tired. And I don't know. Um, I'm going to go with Jazz 3 decision, round 3 or decision. Just because 2, I still think Karine Silva is going to have energy in her. Um, but I don't know, man. I think Jazz could get a finish here, but I'm not going to be as confident as some other spots. She's not at the division, at the point in her career, or not career, yeah, I guess career, where she's fighting these girls who will easily quit for her in the second and third and can't, like Ariana Lipsky's not normally like that, but on bottom, she doesn't really have the jiu-jitsu you could say that Karine Silva has. But I would also say Lipsky's cardio is better than Karine Silva's. It's a weird fight in that way. But I do think Jazz wins. That is the 100% thing I am not sure of, but obviously it's a fight. Not 100% sure, but she should win this fight. She has better wrestling. Striking's even, if not a slightly lean Jazz. And I do think her jiu-jitsu's better. Or not jiu-jitsu, sorry. Her top game's better, enough to nullify the jiu-jitsu aspect. So I'm going to go with Jazz here. Round 3 or decision. That's going to be my read on this fight. And yeah. Okay. We're not making the worst time. Yeah, moving on. Mando Nallo versus Jai Herbert. I got to go with Mando Nallo here. I just think Herbert's chin is just a very, very big liability here. Um, Someone just tagged me in the group. Yeah, okay. I could have gone the rest of my life without knowing that. Yeah, no. Where do I have this fight? Actually, I don't know. Let me see what the odds have this fight out, because I really don't have a good read on this one either. They have Nallo as a favorite. Maybe, I don't know, man. Like, this is a hard fight because the thing with Nallo is he can be out grappled. He's at a good gym where they do good game plans at TriStar, but he's 36 years old. He submitted Cerez, which was whatever. He beat Samuel Silva, who is a bit of a punching bag and not that good. He's better. I thought he was better when he beat Hardwick, but the Hardwick brothers, we'll get into that another time. I don't know, man. Like, Piccolotti submitted Nallo pretty easily. Not easily, but he got him. And Brown's, TKO'd him. Only thing that worries me here is Herbert's cage work. And if Nallo can't get off the shots he normally can, I don't know. Because Herbert, he's also not young. They're both unks. So it's like, he lost to Padilla, and I thought Padilla, he should have beat Padilla. He beat Bedoya. He beat Kyle. He lost to Ferris DM. Tapuria. He TKO'd Kamaworthy. Lost to Moicano. Lost to Trinaldo. Beat Jack Grant. Cage Warrior. Like, I don't know, man. This is weird because I just think this is like a close fight. I'm gonna lean Mandel Nallo after further looking at this. But I could see some weird decision. I could see some funkiness. Maybe he puts him through the Herbert verse. I don't know. I just, I don't know, man. This is like one of those fights where it's like, does Herbert get his way like with the clinch exchanges? I don't know. I don't think he does. I think Herbert's gonna struggle closing range. I think Nallo's footwork's gonna be good here. I think his calf kicks are gonna be good, and I think his striking and takedown defense will be good enough to, you know, negate Herbert's clinch game. So I'm gonna go with Mando Nallo, slight lean. Um, yeah, this is a debut fight for Nallo, so excited to see how he does here. He's in his home country. We'll see how this plays out. He changed his nickname, but I'm still gonna call him Rat Garbage. That's his original nickname. I have Rat Garbage getting the win here, and I have him getting it impressively. We'll see though. Not impressive, like getting a KO. I think Herbert's chin. I think he's due to get chinned here at some point. And if he doesn't, I could see this easily going to the Herbert verse. So close fight. I'm gonna lean Nallo. We'll see how this plays out. Moving on. We have Charles Jourdain, Air Jourdain versus Kyler Phillips. I gotta go again, another close fight. This is I would probably lean Jourdain. Let me see here. And again, the odds are a little not worth playing in my opinion. I do think Jourdain wins, but Phillips is coming, for blood this fight. He's been talking about it the past little bit on social media. He's on a 2-fight losing skid, hasn't won since 2 years. So he needs a win. He beat Barcelos, he beat Munoz, he's lost to a boxer in Rob Font and Vinicius. So he doesn't deal well with pressure. But Jourdain doesn't really fight on the front foot. He usually plays the back foot game a lot. And if you're giving Kyler that kind of fight, I feel like this could get pretty hairy and close. I could see split decision type deal. So I'm gonna go with Jourdain, but it's very close. Very, very, very close. One of the closest fights on the card, in my opinion. So I'm going to go Jourdain. I think it's going to start with Kyler Phillips probably winning the first. Maybe. I don't know. It could be a wash round. This is it's hard to even see how this fight's going to play out. Because I could see a few different scenarios. I could see maybe even someone gets chinned. I don't know. My guess is it goes to a decision fight, goes the distance. But those odds are probably pretty crazy. So I don't know if it's possible to even bet that. But I'm going to go with Jourdain here by decision or split decision. But I do think Kyler I think he's live to, pull an upset. Not an upset because it is close lined, but you know what I mean. Pull snatch the win away from the Canadian. And I know a lot of people have high hopes for Jourdain because Canadian MMA is struggling right now for that, future champion type, But I don't know. I just think Jourdain is just not at that high level. He's improved 100%, but I don't know, man. I just think Kyler Phillips is another step, another level, and I don't know if Jourdain's at this level. And this is a fight to show me what level he's at. So I'm gonna treat this as a show me spot. I'm gonna go Jourdain, but I'm not confident, and I wouldn't be surprised if this just gets not fraud checked, but set back down the ladder where he's better suited. So I'm going Jourdain, but it's not a confident pick. I'm not going to yap too long about this. You guys get the point. Close fight. Moving on. We have my guy, Mike Malott versus Gilbert Burns. Again, he's my teammate, just like Jazz. I'm not going to sit here and talk about game plans, talk about this. All I can speak from is an objective perspective where, even though I am biased, I'll speak from a place where my information, my knowledge of training, etc., does not get, is not the main talking points. I'm going to speak to what you guys already know. Mike has shown not the best ability to deal with pressure in heavy grappling situations in the past. As of late, Mike's done pretty well. He won his last 3. Giles kind of put it on him. Radke definitely was putting it on him. And I don't know. I feel like if Burns walks into something stupid, he's talking about concussions and stuff, he could easily get chinned. I don't think Burns realizes that, or not Burns, but people realize how much power Mike does have. He has nasty power in his kicks because that kick is going to be there. His step through cross is really nice, and his hooks are dangerous. So I feel like if Burns gets caught, I feel like he could get caught here, and this could be like his retirement spot. But I wouldn't retire in Canada and Winnipeg. But I feel like if he does lose another fight, I feel like he's gonna probably retire his next fight. So I'm gonna go Mike. Obviously, that's gonna be my read. But it is a 5 round fight, and I haven't seen Mike in a 5 round fight before. So all I can say is it's like a show me spot. I know this is a favorable matchup, but I still think he still has things to prove as far as rounds 3, 4, and 5. How he deals with the 25 minutes rather than 15, we'll see. I think Mike should be okay. I think Burns is gonna he's gonna fight pretty reserved. I don't know though, because this is Gilbert Burns we're talking about. This guy beat Jack Della Maddalena before that KO sequence. Like if you remember, he was down. Like Jack was down. And those body kicks from Burns are also no joke. He broke Jack's arm. So, you know, I think I think Jack's problem is he's a heavy boxer, and Burns can kick like a mule, but so can Mike. So this is one of those fights I'm gonna have to go with Mike here, but I do think the odds are a little wide, and I don't think playing Mike at -600 was even a remote option. Even now, where he's at -400, I wouldn't probably play him. But if you do play him, just be ready, because if you see things slowing down rounds 3, 4, or 5, maybe you can get out of your position. I don't know. All I know is this is a show me spot for Mike. We have not seen him in the later rounds. I don't know what to expect. All I can say is Mike's done a lot of work on himself since that Magny fight, and I just think he's managing his breathing, his cardio a lot better than he used to. So I truly don't know, but I do think this is going to be a win for Mike. I think Mike wins this fight probably by finish, not sub, but KO. You know, good luck subbing Burns. Burns is a ridiculously credentialed black belt. Mike's a really good black belt as well, but you know, like Burns has been known for his jiu-jitsu for how long? I don't know. I think Mike probably KOs him. Probably. I think Mike's just. You have to understand. Burns used to be a 155er. Mike used to be a 145er, but I guess I kind of canceled it out. I guess, but you know what I mean. I just think Mike's gonna be probably the bigger guy in there. Maybe I don't know. See. I think Mike wins though. I think Mike wins by KO or by decision. Either way, I think Mike wins. Um, Gilbert Burns, I'm a fan of you. Don't get me wrong, but it's Mike. It's always going to be Team NTT versus the world, and I just think Mike Malott wins, and I'm rooting for him. So this isn't. I gave you the most unbiased take I could give, but I'm also telling you I'm rooting for Mike. So take that with what you will. Be careful betting this fight. But let me give you guys my that's it for my breakdown of this card. Um, Let me give you guys my prospect of the card. My prospect of the card is probably going to be Tanner Bose. I'm just joking. Oh, I couldn't even say that. It was probably going to be probably Mauricio Barboza, or yeah, I'll probably say Barboza. My fight of the night, I'm gonna have to go with. What are the odds Vlogden gets 2 fight of the nights? I don't think that's a very high chance, but I'm gonna go probably Burns Malott. It's probably my guess, or Jourdain Phillips. If I had to pick, I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna probably go. I'm gonna probably go Mike and Burns. That's probably gonna be my fight of the night. If not, Bazooka Barbosa is really. I don't know, man, because both Barbosa and Mike could sleep their opponents early, so they could take away. But you know, I don't know. So maybe Robert Valentin and LeBlanc. Maybe I don't know. There's a lot of options here, so I can't even pick just one. So no answer for this card. Top 5 picks. This is what I can give you an answer on. Let me give you guys my top 5 picks. Number 1, I'm gonna go Mauricio Barboza, riding momentum, dangerous as it gets. Number 2, I'm gonna go Jasmine, Jasuda Vicious. Number 3, I'm gonna go Jamie Siraj. Number 4, I'm gonna go Mike Malott. Lima. Must have been an old fight. Yeah, I'll take that off. Number 5, I'm probably gonna go Nascimento. Alan Nascimento. That's gonna be my 5th. Again, treat that as what you treat it as you will. These are not my bets. I have not given out a single bet for this card. I'm actually going to be looking at props heavy on this card. Um, there's a few things I was looking at. If anything, if I can give you a few things that I do think are a little ridiculous, is Lesnikova at plus money initially. That's probably the only thing, but that's not a spot I'm sitting there running to bet. So, yeah, man. I don't know. This is a weird card as far as like value. There's no really value anywhere pre-flop. And then maybe I could find some parlays I like. I don't know. I'll decide closer to the fight. But yeah, guys, that's my picks. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. We have went for an hour and 20 minutes. This is now my longest show. So like, subscribe. You know the drill. I'll catch you next time. And be nice to each other. Be easy. It's a hard game out there. Not everyone's doing well this year. So just be easy on these guys. I know it's fun to hate on people and laugh and stuff, but some people are actually going through it this year. I'm doing all right. I can't speak for anyone else but myself. I'm doing all right, but for those people that are not, just be easy on them. I know some big names in the industry are not doing well this year, so and yeah, just try to be easy on them. And yeah, hopefully you guys can cash with me this card. Join the Discord. We're killing it on all promotions. So it's probably one of the best times to join my Discord right now. So